listen, we're all one people, right? We love every country and all people in them. We do, as much as we can. And my head blew off about a year ago when I was given my Advanced Reader's Edition. When you write a book, as you know, because you're writers, you give it to the editor, and then you work with the editor, and it goes back and forth, and then it is sent to a copy editor, where it is typeset, and when you see that, then you correct it. May I get some water? Is there anybody have a bottle of water? No? Is there, hey, Toe, is there water out? Because I'm choking. Anyway, see, I got excited. No, don't everybody leave for water. Look at the Italian girls, so now they're all going. Little coffee and cookies. Bring it back. Anyway, so I get this manuscript back, and I looked at it, and I panicked, because I turned the page, and it looked like my book, but at the bottom of each page, it was punctuated, even if it was in the middle of a sentence. And I went, what happened here? And of course I went crazy and I started crying because they print these, and it's called the Advanced Reader's Edition. And that's what's sent to bookstores, and it's sent, Kenny would receive a copy, or whoever would receive a copy, and you'll get reviewed based on this. My editor called my editor, I'm crying, she said, I'll call you back, let me find out what happened. And she came back to me and she goes, it'll never happen again. I said, but I want to know what happened. She said, we sent your manuscript to India because it's cheaper. Oh. I said, there are Americans who need jobs. Well, the union is so expensive, and they could get people for $3 to $4 an hour in India to typeset.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what they get.
And the same is true with, now you know, animators, that's a big Italian profession. Like the Disney animators, a lot of Italian Americans. Oh, thanks a million, it's my sister Tony, my Irish twin. Anyway, so, animation, gone. It's in India and Asia. Clothing, gone. In 1950, when we brought the machines in, you know, prior to that, now none of you're all too young to remember this, but prior to 1950, you could go to a department store and have a coat made for yourself. You would get things custom made, and then you would buy clothes. You didn't buy a lot of clothes like you do now. You didn't go to Target and come out with a bin of crap that, 8 things in a package. You're going to live long enough to wear all the socks. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in 1950, and these are pretty accurate numbers I'm about to give you, about 99% of the clothing you would wear in the United States, any American would wear, were made here. Okay? By 1980, about 75%. By 1990, about 32%. Now, 2% of the clothing you wear is made in the United States of America. The Ladies' Garment Union is gone. All the promises of, thank God a lot, and this is a terrible thing to say, but like Cousin Violet, she put in like 45 years on the machines. She died at 70, but her union benefits from the age of 15 on had trickled down. She was getting $30 a month. After 40 years, 50 years on the machines, it's crazy. So something happened, and everybody says, well, the free market's free market. Well, of course, I believe that. You can count on the fact that I'm a lefty, but I'm not stupid, and I can be very conservative when it comes to money and fiscal matters. But the job situation really... The other night, I was at another academic presentation, and I heard a professor get up and say that the average lifespan of a job now for a college graduate is 6 months.
What?
6 months. That's how you have to move around now. That's what it is. So, to teach in an age of, interruption, the ability to be still and create something, which is really, that's what Italian Americans are known for, and I would say Italians are known for, is quality craftsmanship. Learned at the feet of the master. It's how my grandfather became a shoemaker in the hills of Italy when he was in an orphanage. They would send artisans into the little villages, and the artisan would teach the craft. And my grandfather had a choice, and he went with shoemaking. And that's how he learned to do it. And when I went to Italy to research 5 years ago, the Italian shoemakers that were still there, that were, say, at that point, maybe 70 years old, their kids were not going to make shoes. So they're, So, in my teeny-weeny, little itty-bitty way, in this book, I really went there, about the factory life and the family life, and the fact that the factory union model came from women who said, yeah, I'll work, but I got to drop the kid off at school at 7, and the bell rang and they were done by 3, and then they'd pick up their kids and go home. And the beauty of it was you didn't have to drive to the factory because people didn't have 2 cars. You know, the men would carpool, and they'd take 1 car, and the women walked to work. And those factories were nestled, and I just think of my great aunts in those pictures when they take the group picture, you know, and how proud they were that they were working. And yet, you know, now what do? Where do you go to have that sense of achievement about yourself? And I can't even look at the TV with the unemployment. I get sick. And I'm in this kook-a-loop crazy profession, you know, where I got to be a full brush man with intellectual ideas, I would say, emotional ideas, and storytelling. So, as far as I'm concerned, your role becomes bigger, because you have a lot of people to reach now. You can't have your little niche area anymore as educators. You got to really think about how you're going to prepare who you're teaching, or if you're a writer, who you're trying to reach with some kind of solid basis information for those people to take what you're teaching them and move forward and somehow make a living by it. It's going to be easy. Are you a teacher?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes, back here.
Hi, my name's Dennis Barone, and I'm already married.
Hi, Dennis. Dennis put himself out there with the wedding ring. We haven't heard that story before, Dennis. No, we haven't heard about you. Yes, dear.
My question is about craftsmanship. You said that you have lots of stories to tell, but not enough time to tell them. But everybody has a story to tell. So your stories appeal to a lot of people.
Right.
So what would you say is the main thing about your style or your writing process that enables you to reach many people?
That's such a great question. How did I become a best-selling author when there's so many great books out there? And maybe mine aren't so great, but let me tell you, they're pretty good. And all my goal is to get better with each one. You know, I can't be perfect, but I'm going to keep trying. That is a great question, and one I think about a lot. I long for the days when publishers would be submitted an unsolicited manuscript, and they'd actually read them. And Bennett Cerf would find more Boffo bestsellers in the slush pile than virtually anywhere else, because he took the time to read them. The beauty of writing, you know, to me, when I really winnow this all down, when I'm talking about writing, it's like cooking. A lot of people can make spaghetti, but then every once in a while you go, wow, somebody reinvents it, or it tastes just like your grandmother's, or, you know, we're very competitive about meatballs in my family and argue about them all the time. So my point is that there's a lot of gold out there. And I'm not allowed to read unsolicited manuscripts. They have to come through an agent. That's to protect me and to protect who's ever submitting it. But I think as a community, what we should really be trying to do is to, and maybe this exists and I'm just ignorant of it, but we really need to have an Italian press. We really have to start thinking again like we used to about these stories and getting these stories. You have an Italian press. Who's laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because I review your books in them.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that kind of press. I need to publish.
Oh, publishing. Well, we
yes.
also...
I don't mean reviews.
No,
you better give me good ones, so I'm leaving.
Bordighera Press.
Bordighera.
Okay. All right. So so I didn't know that.
That's good.
Okay.
I know everything.
So now I know it, but a way of gathering information. You know,